So let's talk about referral partners. Most of you probably already have referral partners, and they could be accountants or they could be lawyers or real estate agents. And you may have established those through networking groups or just personal relationships or even cold calling. I just want to give you really one of the better ways to engage with accountants, and bearing in mind that from an accounting point of view, unless you've got a good relationship with one or more, then I would say this to you: don't expect an accountant to refer to you necessarily, but you can push for that. And when I say push, what I mean is, build that relationship right from the start, even without knowing them, just by having a look at your client's financials. So one of the easiest ways, which I did elaborate on during a webinar, but I will say it again, is if you've got an inquiry for a asset finance or vehicle finance and you're looking through the financials, then you have every right, of course, to contact the accountant and with your client's permission, to talk to the accountant about getting future or sort of further tax returns or other financial statements. And I think that you should contact that accountant in any event. So the reason for that is to introduce yourself, let them know that you're doing a loan for the client, and also talk to that accountant and just get their opinion on, is the client putting this asset into the right entity? Is the structure correct? Does a shadow mortgage suit? Is that the kind of facility that the accountant would like the client to have? I've had accountants say to me in the past that a client's gone off to a dealership, bought a car, put it in the wrong entity. They've had to fix up all kinds of taxation issues with that. And so I think you'll find that they'll appreciate someone contacting them and asking for their advice. And as soon as you've done that, then you'll find that you can start building rapport with that accountant as a potential referral partner in the future. So in terms of steps, I would take the inquiry, have a look at their financials, contact the accountant. Even if you know that the entity and the structure is correct, ask their opinion, and then make a point to get their email address if you don't have it, and just summarize what you're doing for the client, copy in the client. And then once the deal's done, what I would do is send the contract, the details, and the original invoice to the accountant, because they'll need that for taxation purposes, and I guarantee the client won't do it. You'll find that 12 months time, when tax time comes around, the accountant will be searching for it. You'll get a request from someone, and it'll be too late to build that relationship because it's a transaction at that stage. You're just providing the invoice for them to get their tax done. So contact them, ask their opinion, send them through on settlement the original invoice and the details, copy the client in, and then you've got an opportunity there to make another contact with the accountant and say, hey, look, I've looked after this deal and I would like to come and meet with you and talk to you about your business and learn more about the types of clients that you deal with. And don't make it about you, but make it about them. Get to understand their business. And that's an opportunity for you to make a meeting with a potential referral partner without having to cold call them. Now, some of you will have other techniques. You will have established real estate referral relationships. But one thing I want you to think about is, how can you expand this? So having one accountant or two accountants or three referrals from real estate agents or lawyers is fine. However, if you think about bank BDMs, when bank BDMs come to you, it's because they've already established a relationship through your aggregator. Now that aggregator obviously has maybe 1,000 brokers. So that BDM gets to visit 1,000 brokers because of one relationship. How can you apply that to your business? Well, if you've got an established relationship with one real estate agent in a particular office, why not ask for a meeting with the principal or with the whole office or the whole sales team? Now, sometimes what you'll find is that there's established relationships in place. Other agents in the same office use particular brokers, etc. But it doesn't mean that you can't go and state your case. So if you can get a referral relationship with an agency that has 14 sales staff, you've potentially got those 14 referral partners from one place rather than trying to find 14 independent agents. Some of the real estate agents that we talk to have at a head office level are independent, and they might have 14 offices. So 14 or 15 different offices. So by going to the top of the tree and establishing the relationship there, getting an introduction from the person who does know you, maybe in a social environment or in a business environment, and getting to know the principal, then from a distribution point of view, you've got a lot more leverage. Once they agree to using you and have got good recommendations from the person that uses you already, then you've got the opportunity to call on those other agents and establish relationships. So in terms of referral partners, there's always opportunities. The first one that I talked about was accounting, and that's simply because you've got permission to call that accountant, talk to them about the structure, give them great service and provide them with the details that they need. And now when you call, it's not a cold call anymore, because you can call about a particular client. The gatekeepers are going to let you in, so the receptionist, if you like, will let your call go through because you've got a mutual client. So other referral partners, obviously lawyers, one opportunity, go and see lawyers, particularly in the commercial property and development space, where they are putting together documentation for purchases. So they'll be one of the first people to see those kinds of contracts for a purchase. And some people might say, oh, well, that's too late in the game, but often you'll find that a client will put together a purchase contract before they've considered their finance. I'm sure you've seen that with home loans as well. So accountants, real estate agents, lawyers, I'm sure you've got plenty of others in networking groups, even industry. So if you're looking after a particular industry, if you're a specialist in that industry, you might look after certain types like medicos, etc. You might find that you're looking after one doctor in a medical centre. There's no reason why you can't request a meeting with whoever owns the medical centre, or alternatively the management committee for the medical centre, or it might be that there's a partnership of 4 or 5 doctors. Why not invite those 4 or 5 doctors in? And you might think, well, that's not a referral relationship. But once you're into a particular industry and are looked upon as an expert in that industry, you'll find that the people who mix in that area start referring other doctors to you, for example. Other professions like pilots who mix with each other, can refer to you. So there's all sorts of referral partner opportunities, and they're sitting there right in the files that you've already got. You don't have to go cold calling necessarily. You can find a file right now that you've done for a self-employed person or business owner, find the accountant, call them and say, hey, I need to catch up with you and talk to you about this client, or we did a deal for this client, I want to make sure that you've got all the documentation, or we have a mutual client and can I have a meeting, etc. So those are just some ways to seek out new referral partners or from your existing files. And if you've got any questions, please give me a call directly or email me, and we can talk through your strategy and how you're going to approach it, and I can give you some feedback on what you think you might like to do there.